So for example, I read, again, احنا قلنا a young man راح له عشان a young man كان عنده anxiety, صح؟ احنا بدأنا ازاي? A few years ago, a young man came to me suffering from too much thinking. All right, okay. So a young man, too much thinking. That can topic sentence. So we want to support in previous information. فالجملة دي بسمع لها number one لازم support the previous information. و number two يبقى ليه علاقة بالmain idea of the paragraph, right? و number three على الأقل برضو نلاقي some sort of connection. So let's read, let's find out. He had just graduated from college and his head was full of confused ideas and emotions, right? Too much thinking. Again, question mark. صح? Question mark. The symptoms he complained of were sleeplessness and worry, together with the inevitable indigestion and headache. I could find no evidence of physical disease, right? So, ممكن نقول برضو he had some sort of symptoms, right? كان عنده أعراض anxiety, أعراض complaint, right? So, Mrs. Basmala, أنت قلت لي answer B. If we seek it, إيه هو it? لو قلنا إجابة B, right? Pronoun أهو. أخد بالي بالpronouns, right? Connection. So لازم the previous information يقول لي it. So what is it? What is it? Right? We don't know. So if we seek it, right? مش عارفين إيه هو it. It's ambiguous. So that pronoun هيقول لي غلط, right? We are doomed always to be ill and unsatisfied. So unfortunately, ما ينفعش نقول answer B. عشان answer B مش بيوضح لي what is it. So I think Abdurrahman for number 7 قال لي answer A. So a great deal of the fatigue and happiness of the world is due to the fact that we do not go deep enough in our justification for work or play, or for any experience, happy or sad. This looks correct. بس دلوقتي الجملة أو الباراجراف بيكلمني عن إيه؟ الراجل عنده too many ideas, too many emotions. وبسبب ideas و emotions الراجل ده عنده أعراض, عنده symptoms, right? عنده sleeplessness, عنده worry, عنده indigestion, right? عنده headache, عنده, some sort of disease. He is sick. The man is sick. So لازم الإجابة بتاعتنا يبقى related to something about sickness, right? Something about sickness. So I give it B. Again, it looks correct. We're always doomed to be ill and unsatisfied. جميل. But what is it? Again, صحيح Mrs. Basmala? So you have to be very careful بالنسبة للpronouns دولت. يا C يا D. He was also very tired, having overworked in his preparation for examinations, and because he had not taken care of his bodies. But we're looking for symptoms of something. كده معناها الجملة ديت لازم يعمل إيه؟ لازم يكلمني عن disease, right? الجملة ديت لازم يكلمني عن disease. When you're choosing answers, you have to think like this. هتقولي, well, Mr. Sima, what about time? Time عندي lag is not the problem. أكبر مشكلة students have بالنسبة للquestions دولت انتوا بتركزوا على ايه؟ بتركزوا على time. احنا لازم نركز على ايه في التدريب؟ لازم نركز على proper practice, right? We have to focus on proper practice. So our answer is D, right? The answer is D. Why? If we could know more clearly the joy of such a conception, we should dry up at its source much of the unhappiness, which is, in a deep and subtle way, at the bottom of many nervous illness and many wretched existence. الجملة ديت بقى how is it connected? Let me clear it up, right? If we can know more clearly the joy of such a conception, right? To stop thinking ده يرجع للمين idea. فاكرين المين idea بتاع الباسج كان بيقول لي stop thinking. هو كان بيقول عليها في previous paragraph it's a conception, it's an idea, هي فكرة معينة. We should dry up at its source the unhappiness. We'll we will stop the unhappiness that causes nervous illness and wretched existence. So بعد كده in the next sentence بيكلمني عن symptoms of this nervous illness, of the wretched existence, right? The sleepiness, the worry, the indigestion, the headache, كل ده. So here we're going to say answer D. So be very, very careful. أقرب إجابة would be answer B. But unfortunately, answer B, ما أعرفش هو إيه, wrong. Be critical when you're choosing the answer choice. Don't look for why the answer is correct. Look for why the answer is incorrect. Let's continue. Let me see Yusuf's paper. This paper, Abdurrahman, Asmala, Yusuf, right? Question number 8, جبتها صح. كل حد جاب question A صح? Yeah. Abdurrahman got it wrong. Okay. Look at question number 8. Focus with me now, right? Another transition. Which of the following transitions from the previous information to the following information? نفس الحاجة, all right? We want to go from the idea of symptoms on previous information, which ده بس, the whole thing, right? The whole paragraph. So paragraph can be كلمني عن the illness or the symptoms of the illness, right? بعد كده عايزين نروح following information. I could find no evidence of physical disease. I did not say there's nothing the matter with you, for the man was sick. I told him that he was tired and that he thought too much and that he was too much concerned about himself, and that as a result of all this, his bodily functions were temporarily upset. So again, كل ده بيكلمني عن ايه؟ أعراض symptoms or أعراض disease. عبد الرحمن قال لي C. Right. عايزين نبص على answer C. عايزين نفكر ليه جابت C غلط. There's a practice of medicine that is concerned with the body only and with its chemical and mechanical reactions. Okay, well, how is this related? How is this related? الراجل بيقول لي عنده symptoms. Right. الراجل بيقول لي عنده symptoms. الجملة اللي بعديها بيقول لي I find no evidence of disease. So ايه اللي حصل؟ هو عامل ايه مع الراجل عشان يقول مفيش evidence of disease وكشف عليه؟ صح؟ Answer B. I went over the bodily functions carefully and studied as far as I might into the organic conditions. I find no evidence of disease. So that's the next logical steps, right? بيكلمني عن symptoms, الدكتور كشف عليه, الدكتور قال مفيش symptoms. And we'll answer B. So question number 9. The writer is thinking about the following, adding the following information. I took x-rays of his bones, MRI scanning of his brain, his blood pressure, his CBC count, his WBC count, T cell count, and did many other tests. Okay. Should we add this information? Well, ممكن أسألكم, what is the main idea? Remember, لازم يرجع للmain idea. إيه هو المين idea? The symptoms are not from disease, right? Well, بالظبط يوسف, right? Be careful there. The symptoms دولت مش جاي من disease. So هو كشف عليه. I find no evidence of disease. فهيكمل على يكشف عليه ويدور على symptoms أو يدور على أسباب. Well, no. عشان the next sentence بيقول كل ده جاي because you're thinking too much. ده مش جاي من a disease or a solid cause. This is happening because you're thinking too much. فليه أعمل كل ده؟ ده أول حاجة. تاني حاجة. These are physical reasons. صح؟ الراجل الفكرة الأساسية بيقول symptoms حصل because of mental reasons, not because of physical reasons. فبرضو this doesn't fit the discussion. مش لازم أعرف كل الفيزيكال tests هو عملها عشان at the end of the day the main idea or the focus is mental reasons سبب في disease like symptoms. فحتى لو قلتوا لي ايه right here it details the steps the doctor took to identifying the young man's health issues. Well, it's not physical. They gave it A does not support the main idea. And they gave it B. Yes, it further explains and expounds on the discussion in the previous sentence. بس الراجل أساسا بيقول في the previous sentence there's no evidence. صح؟ So ليه يعمل كل ده؟ مفيش أي حاجة أساسا. لو مثلا جه after 8 نقول مش وقبل 8 مش. بس again هو خلاص قرر it's not because of something it's not because of something physical, it's because of something mental, right? And so C or D, all right? It's too tedious, too detailed, or it needs to define the acronyms, right? And so C, D مش سبب. When we do not add information, when we say no, ليه بنقول no? Because the information is off topic or the information is off focus. صح ولا لا؟ صح. Question number 10. Which of the following contrasts with the main idea of the passage? أنا مش عارف ليه في ثلاث إجابات صح. I have to fix this. Which contrasts with the previous idea? Which contrasts with the previous ideas. Now, خد بالكم. We're going to pay attention برضو to the main idea of the paragraph. صح? We're going to pay attention to the main idea of the paragraph. So here, I did not say there's nothing the matter with you, for the man was sick. I told him that he was tired and he had thought too much, that he was too much concerned about himself, and that as a result of all his bodily functions would temporarily upset. He didn't believe me and accused me of slander. Does that contrast with the main idea? Right? Well, ايه هو المين idea? Mental sickness. So عايزين contrast. He thought he ought to worry about himself because otherwise he would not be trying to get well. He assumed that I would prescribe him medicine. He was confused as to why a physician is necessary. Well, let's use some elimination, right? D, right? He was confused why a physician was necessary. Well, هو راح الدكتور. ليه يبقى confused في دكتور في الموضوع. وإجابة A, he didn't believe me and accused me of slander. يعني إيه slander? غيبة أو نميمة. It doesn't fit here. It's either B or D. So we want an answer that tells us الراجل ده افتكر العكس, right? الدكتور بيقول له I told him he was tired. He was tired. He thought too much. He was too concerned about himself. وعايزين عكسها answer B. الراجل افتكر لازم يفكر كتير عن نفسه عشان يخف. This is a contrast to the previous sentence. The previous sentence بيقول لي ما تفكرش كتير عن نفسك هتتعب أكتر. الراجل بيقول له أنا افتكرت لازم أفكر عن نفسي. Answer B is the best answer. مش عارف ليه طلع كل الإجابات دول ده. Okay. And finally, question number 11. وحتى here it's telling you two correct answers. Wow. Which of the following most logically organizes the paragraph? Right. أنا حاسس ساعات الصوت بيقع. So don't worry. أما أجي بحس الصوت بيقع عشان بسمع اللابتوب التاني. I stop talking وبخليه يلود. So مفيش كلام بيبقى ناقص لكم. So when I hear الصوت ليها lag أنا بقولها تاني. Just keep this in mind. So مش بكمل كلام جديد. Right? Because I hear myself lagging. Okay. So now we see the order, right? So ساعات الorder ممكن يجي بأي طريقة. ممكن يجي in chronological order, right? يعني ترتيب first, next, last. ممكن يجي sequence of events, logical events, right? So مثلا صحيت الصبح بعد كده استحميت بعد كده فطرت بعد كده نزلت الشغل. ممكن sentence order ممكن يجي عن طريق connections زي pronouns مع بعض. لو عرفتوا to connect two sentences مع بعض هيفرق معانا, right? So in sentence number 10, right? احنا قلنا الراجل افتكر لازم يفكر عن نفسه. Right? احنا قلنا في sentence number 10 he thought he ought to worry about himself because otherwise he would not trying to get well. So ما اجي اشوف number 11 لازم اعمل حسابي على number 10, right? عشان 10 لازم يبقى connected للجملة اللي بعديها. ثاني نلون السنتنسز دولت. Number 1 is in red. Number 2 is in orange. Number 3 is green. And number 4 is blue. Right? So, well, there you go. The color's all ruined. So here, we're going to say you answer B, you answer C. Why? Number 10 بيقول لي الراجل فكر لازم يفكر عن نفسه. Right? وده غلط. Number 4, I explained to him that his mistaken, but this mistaken obligation. فاكرين احنا اتكلمنا عن connections. فاكرين اتكلمنا عن الكونكشنز. واحنا قلنا مع الكونكشنز في حاجة اسمها demonstrative adjective. demonstrative adjective معناها this or that plus a noun. صح؟ This or that plus a noun. This mistaken obligation مرتبطة بإيه؟ الفكرة في number 10. هو فكر غلط وبيفكر كتير عن نفسه. الدكتور بيقول this is a mistaken obligation. So number 4 is connected to the previous sentence في number 10 عن طريق demonstrative adjectives. أنا عايزاكم تدربوا نفسكم كويس على demonstrative adjective والpronoun. اللي انتوا بتعملوها دلوقتي keywords. ولا مرة هتسمعوني هقول لكم keywords. Never in my life. So keep this in mind. So دلوقتي هنقول question number 4 جاية after sentence number 1. So دلوقتي يا إما 4 1 2 3 4 2 1 3. هنقول answer C. Why? That helped a bit. إيه هو that؟ فاكرين demonstrative adjective؟ That is the mistaken obligation. So هوريكم الصورة كلها. Sentence number 10. الراجل افتكر لازم يفكر عن نفسه كتير. Sentence number 4. الدكتور بيقول this is a mistaken obligation. الفكرة ديت فكرة غلط وهتأثر على نفسك. Sentence number 2. That helped. إيه هو that؟ نصيحة في sentence number 4. So we're going to say answer C. When you're drawing connections, pronouns, demonstrative adjectives, you need to look for these. عشان في EST, they use these things the most, not keywords. Okay. Any questions here on this practice? Problems, concerns? Okay, cool. Let's move on. Okay, I fixed the answer key. And then we had December, passage 3, reading. صح كده؟ عبد الرحمن ما عملتهاش. بسملة 72%. يوسف 90%. هل انت حافظ الامتحان ده يا يوسف ولا لا؟ Okay, good. First of all, زي ما شايفين في الاكتيفيتي ده في explanations موجودة for the correct or incorrect answers, right? Okay. I think we are on number 3. I think we're on number 3. خلينا أول 2 questions مع بعض. Miss Basmala, جبتي question number 3 incorrect. What is described as the reason the author in passage 1 chooses to mention humblebees highlighted in yellow? Why does the author mention humblebees? Okay. انتوا فاكرين المين ايديا ولا لا؟ انتوا فاكرين المين ايديا ولا لا؟ What's the main idea؟ عشان اجابات مرتبطة بالمين ideas. It's a skill we need to practice. Animals and plants are connected. صح؟ ده كان المين idea. So here, hence, I have very little doubt that if the whole genus of humblebees became extinct or rare in England, the heartease and red clover, would become very rare or wholly disappear. ليه بيكلمني عن humblebees? And you told me answer B. The author sheds light on the destruction of combs and nests. عشان كده احنا بنتكلم عن humblebee. Well, انت شفتي الجزء ده صح يا بس بسملة؟ Right? But you need to see it مش بس in this detail. We need يا جماعة نشوف information in connection to the main idea. هو بيكلمني عن humblebee عشان يورينا connections between plants and animals. So answer B المشكلة فيها it's too specific. مش بس بيكلمني عن humblebee and the destruction of their homes. هو بيكلمني عن humblebee. And if their homes are destroyed بسبب mice, then the plant, the red clover, cannot live. You see that connection? So answer B wouldn't work out there, right? Answer A would be the best answer. The author provides an example of the effect of animals on the propagation of plants. That's why بيكلمني عن humblebees. If their homes are destroyed by the mice, then there is no red clover. He's talking about the humblebee, يوريني الconnection. أما أجي أشوف ليه بيكتب لي information ده. Why is this information written in the text? أنا لازم أفكر من ناحية main idea of the passage. Why is this information written? إيه علاقة information ده بالmain idea? So answer A would be the best answer. Let's go to question number 4. Oh, we have evidence here, right? وطالما جبنا evidence صح, that means كنا جبنا السؤال اللي قبليها صح, right? Which choice provides the best evidence that the humblebees are mentioned as an example of the effect of animals on the propagation of plants? شايفين ازاي انا بحط لكم السؤال بالايفيدنس عشان لو انا بحل السؤال لو انا بحل الايفيدنس الاول لازم الايفيدنس يجاوب على السؤال. That's important, right? انت قلت لي evidence number 2. Good job there, right? The number of humblebees in any district depends a great deal on the field mice, which destroy their combs and nests. Well, yeah, this is good evidence. عشان if the mice increase, the bees decrease, and the clover decreases. This is an example of the effect of animals on plants. أي evidence تانية مش بيوريني الفكرة ديت. Right, so answer B would be the best answer. Good job there. Let me see the other students. Mr. Yusuf, you got 7 wrong. That's the only one you got wrong. Mrs. Amina, you got number 6 wrong. Okay, let's go to number 5. Everybody got this one correct, right? So here, Mr. H. Newman, Mr. So زي ما قلت لكم أنا سامع اللاج. فأول لما أكشف في لاج أنا بطل كلام بخلي اللاج يعدي بعد كده بكمل. I already knew what propagation is, so I thought D was right, number 7. Okay, when we get to number 7, inshallah. Mr. H. Newman, who has long attended to the habits of bumblebees or humblebees. Okay, now again, we're talking about what? We're talking about the habits of an animal. Do you appear the habits or manage? Do you manage habits? No, you can't manage habits, right? The context. The context is habits, right? A company, يعني مع بعض. No, you look after the habits. تهتم. So answer D is the best answer. Question number 6. Ms. Amina, Give me question number 6 in correct. This is Amina. Give me number 6 incorrect. Passage 1 is described as, right? So how can we describe passage number 1? Again, مرتبطة بالmain idea. Okay? انت قلت لي an example of a method. يعني ايه an example of a method? يعني ايه method? What is the meaning of method? وعبد الرحمن يقعد يكتب لي اجابات، بس انا عندي السؤال، يعني ايه method؟ ولا نقعد نكتب في اجابات وخلاص؟ ما حدش عارف يعني ايه method؟ وانتوا عايزين تخشوا الامتحان وانتوا مش عارفين يعني ايه method؟ طريقة how you do something, right? A technique, okay? بس ما بيقوليش عن method, right? هو بيقول لي عن فكرة نظرية, right? أنا هديكوا instance. I'm going to show you how plants and animals are related. So here in science, you have a law. ده حاجة ثابتة، حاجة متغيرش. بعد كده تحتيه على طول you have a theory, right? So a theory ده مش فكرة نظرية. That's a hypothesis. So لازم تعرفوا الفرق ما بين ال hypothesis وال theory, right? Hypothesis ده السؤال بتاعتي اللي عايز اجاوب عليها عشان اقدر اكون theory. So theory برضو I don't know يعني ايه بالعربي. I think برضو فكرة نظرية. So hypothesis, what is it in Arabic? So in science, you have a law, okay? You have hypothesis, and then you have a theory. Excuse me, theory and then hypothesis. A theory ليها evidence, خلاص. في examples. So الراجل هنا بيكلمنا عن ايه؟ بيكلمنا عن a theory. وبيدينا examples عن الثيوري ديت. Hypothesis لسه ملهاش examples. So in science, you have to understand you have laws. وده حاجة خلاص مش بس في examples. ده حاجة مش هتتغير. For example, the law of biodiversity, the law of thermodynamics, the law of relativity. These are laws, and they're all laws proven. يعني laws proven scientific facts. مش هتتغير. The law of conservation, energy in, energy out. Then you have a theory. A theory is weaker than a law, بس برضو هي فكرة أنا عندي، والفكرة ديت ليها evidence وليها دليل وليها examples. So الراجل ده بيتكلمني عن فكرة هو عنده وبيدينا examples يسuport الفكرة ديت. Plants and animals are connected. وتحتيها a hypothesis. Now hypothesis is just a suggestion. Okay? It's just a suggestion. Theory means في proof. You Mr. Yusuf. Means there is proof. بس ممكن لسه يطلع غلط. Right? عشان بتكلمني عن string theory. String theory يعني في اتنين particles مرتبطين ببعض with a string. ده الفكرة. وهم خلاص كشفوا لو عملوا حاجة لو one particle, the same particle on the other side of the universe هيحصل لها نفس الحاجة. And they proved it. Oh, is that duality? That's kind of cool. Is that duality? Are you sure about that? Duality? I know duality is something else. But okay, cool. أنت أقدر مني. I don't really research these things, right? But yeah. So here, he's discussing a theory. He has an idea. وبالidea ده بيدينا examples. And they were able, لو كشفت قريب recently Mr. Yusuf, they can transport particles دلوقتي. عملوها ب2 particles 100 miles, right? كان عندهم حاجة and they teleported it 100 miles in distance. That's kind of cool. It's very cool and scary, right? Question number 7. Question number 7. Question number 7. One characteristic of passage 1 that may make it difficult to fully comprehend is the author's assumption throughout that the readers, well, what makes this difficult to fully understand, right? في ال EST دايما بيسألوا إذا كان is this information familiar or not. يعني هل الباسج ده ال EST خدوا بالكم they test you on this. Does it give us definitions and background information or does it give us information على طول? They test you a lot on this idea. For example, right? For example, انت قلت لي answer D. The author assumes that the readers have read Mr. H. Newman's work. But again, هو بيدينا quotes من Mr. H. Newman. لو مثلا كلمني عن نومان على طول كده this was the opinion of Newman. أنا ما أعرفش مين هو نومان. أنا ما أعرفش نومان قال إيه. هنقول answer D. بس هو بياخد quotes من نومان to support his idea. So this does not make the passage more difficult. Okay? Enter C, acquainted with the ancient Indian mounds, off topic. So, enter B, have a well-developed understanding of humble bees. بس هو بيشرح لنا the effect of humble bees on plants. مش بس بيشرح لنا humble bees. Enter B is too specific, right? So answer A, the process of plant propagation. عشان هو بيقول لنا very plainly, animals affect plant propagation. I think this is Yusuf's paper. Yeah, Yusuf. lag. أنا قلت لكم أنا بسمع أما الصوت بيقع so I'm gonna repeat again. So tell me answer D, Yusuf مش بسمع. It doesn't make it more difficult عشان having read Newman's work. هو بيديني quotes من Newman. So it actually makes it easier. It's answer A. أنا ما أعرفش يعني إيه plant propagation. There's no definition for plant propagation. هو بس بيقول لي plant propagation. Where was it? Let me actually find it في التكست. هو بس بيقول لي plant propagation. Right? It doesn't even mention it in the text. So then, you know, answer A. It does make it difficult. عشان ما أعرفش يعني إيه plant propagation. مش بيديني definitions, it makes the text more difficult to read. مش بيديني معنى كلمة specific words, كده هو بيظن أنت خلاص فاهم يعني إيه plant propagation. Number 8. ده كان double passage, so أجيب لكم أسئلة passage 1 مع أسئلة passage number 2. The author of passage 2 most likely mentions teleology 2. Why does the author mention teleology? Why does the author mention teleology? Right? Well, here, teleology tells us that they do so because they were expressly constructed for doing so, that they are perfect mousing apparatuses. So perfect, so delicately adjusted that no one of the organs could be altered. involving the alteration of all the rest. Okay? Well, if you continue reading, أنا مش هقرا هنا بس، هقرا الكونتكست كلها وأشوف ليه بيكلمني عن teleology. هو بيقول animal adaptation affirms the contrary. So ليه بيكلمني عن teleology, right? Answer A, express an opposing premise to the theory of animal adaptation, right? When you're reading in EST هيديك اللاين numbers بس معظم الوقت الإجابة مش شرط في اللاين numbers دولت. It's around the area مرتبطة بالمين idea. هتسمعوني أقول لكم كده كتير قوي لحد أما تستوعبوا the answers are connected to the main ideas. The answers are connected to the main ideas. Don't ever forget that. Question number 9. Given the evidence, right? Two right here. 2 right here. And عندي سؤال. This lag that I'm hearing, هو ده بيحصل على طول ولا بس النهارده؟ Because I feel like it's more than normal today. Okay. Today only. تفتكروا عشان أنا مش شغل اللابتوب التاني؟ عشان النهارده أول يوم برضو I'm working the laptop. Interesting. I have a theory. أنا حاليا هغير الكونكشن على اللابتوب للهوت سبوت وأشوف is it because of the laptop connection على الواي-فاي or not. Let's continue. Question number 10. Here. Construction most nearly means the theory of animal adaptation affirms, on the contrary, that there was no express construction concerned in the matter, but that among the multigenous variations of feline stock, many of which died out, some were better fitted to catch than others. عايزاكم تاخدوا بالكم أما نيجي نقرا passage زي ده, right, and it's complex زي الانفورميشن ده. Okay. Sometimes the passage is complex. يوسف سألني well ممكن نركز على إيه عشان أفهم الباسج أكتر. Focus on the main ideas of the text. Focus on the independent ideas. عشان دايما هنلاقي phrases كتيرة جاية في النص. وزي ما انتوا عارفين, right? الphrases دولت are non-essential to the actual meaning or the actual idea. الauthor يجي يكتب الفكرة الأساسية, الفكرة المهمة يبقى موجودة فين؟ في ال independent idea. والأفكار اللي مش مهمة بالنسبة لنا موجودة فين؟ موجودة في ال dependent ideas. So when you get confused, focus only on the independent ideas. Ignore the commas. Ignore all of the commas. So عندي سؤال بقى. Construction. يا Mrs. بسملة جبتي السؤال ده غلط. What is the context of the discussion? What are we talking about in the discussion? Adaptation. صح? We're talking about adaptation. And so this construction was made for adaptation. Okay. So which answer shows us this? which answer shows us this construction is made for adaptation. ايه هو الconstruction؟ بنتكلم عن البody, the body of the cat, right? Establishment, building, interpretation, structure. Answer D. And finally, question number 11. What is the relationship between the two passages? أنا مديكوا إيه الأجزاء المهمة for you guys to identify the correct answer, right? A relationship between the two. Well, everybody got this correct. I think it was answer B, right? Passage 1 discusses a scientific phenomenon. بيكلم عن بقى الweb, connections between plants and animals. وpassage number 2 بيكلمني عن opposing theory. كان بيكلم عن animal adaptation or something like that. So answer B was the best answer. Do you guys have any questions before we continue today? Okay, we're going to continue working on reading the December test, passage number 4. I think passage number 4 can a humanities passage. Just give me a second. I'm uploading it now. Classwork, passage number 4. Submit. Don't forget homework for the week. هينزل بكرة الصبح. أنا مش عايز أجري وراكم. أقول لكم تعملوا الهومورك. هيبقى في homework common lit وhomework reading, writing, you know the deal. Let me just make sure this is the best one. Okay. Cool. Let's get started. Question number 1, right? As used in bold, discontent refers to. So هنا بيسألني here, discontent. What is discontent? إيه هو discontent? You're going to read from the beginning until the end of the paragraph. مديكوا الباراجراف كلها عشان تاخدوا فكرة عن الباسج. Now I want you guys to pay attention, right? It's related to the main idea برضو. يا إما أقرأ الباراجراف وidentify the main idea. يا إما أقرأ وأسأل نفسي what was discontent? That discontent. ابعتوا لي الإجابة في الشات. Time is up. Time is up. Oh no, time is up. honestly أنا مش عارف ليه هو disconnected. Oops, can you guys see my screen? Okay. Yusuf, no sir. Amina, no ma'am. Oh, so Yusuf said he saw the answer, right? Not Yusuf, Abdul Rahman. طيب يا سيدي. Let me just log back in using my other connection. Okay. Remember احنا اتكلمنا على the or this or that plus a noun. That discontent, right? So here, it may be well among the economic consequences of the war, there will be some national bankruptcies, and that among the political consequences will be revolutions, high prices, high taxes, low wages, unemployment make an ominous combination. So what are we talking about in the text? High prices, high taxes, low wages. بنتكلم عن برضو bankruptcies, تفليس, right? برضو بنتكلم عن revolutions. We may be sure that discontent will be profound and widespread. What will be profound? What will be widespread? كل الحاجات ديت. So it's not just a revolution or bankruptcy. It's كله. For answer A, it's a combination of consequences. So when you're reading through, you want to ask yourself, well, what is أو إيه هو main idea, right? How do I get to the main idea? Or إيه information بنركز عليها? What are we focusing on? Let's try the next one. Question number 2. Okay, look at this. Which statement best describes why glory is placed in quotes? So لازم نشوف التكست برضو. You know, ليه حاطين glory هنا inside quotation marks? You have to continue reading, right? لحد آخر paragraph مثلا. And then you have to ask yourself, well, what is the author saying? What is the meaning of glory? إيه علاقتها بالكلام اللي بيتقال? And ليه حطت quotes? It's a few steps. It's not just one step, right? It's quite a few steps. Okay, Mr. Yusuf. Good job. Abdurrahman? No. Basmala, good. Waiting on Mina. Okay. Amina, no. Okay, so أول حاجة hello, hello, hello. A bit scratchy, the voice. This discontent is pretty sure to lead, especially in the defeated nations, where there is no compensating glory. يعني ما ينفعش أعوض glory. يعني إيه glory? Do you guys know the meaning of glory? Praise. It means thanks. It means honor. Okay, so what he's saying here, discontent is pretty sure to lead to strong revolutionary movements, just as was the case in Russia after defeat by Japan. The author is talking about war, right? So he's saying this discontent, especially in defeated nations, right? Defeated nations, يعني إيه? Nations اللي خسروا في الحرب. If you're a defeated nation, you lost in war, and then, look at here, this is before World War I, where there's no compensating glory. There's no equal to glory. The nation is defeated, yet the nation has glory, right? So the author uses glory as a stylistic device to express irony. Well, أول حاجة, what is irony? It means the opposite of what is true. صح? So the author is using irony هنا. ليه? Well, he indicates that he does not mean glory in a positive way. مش بيقولها in a positive manner. لا, بيقولها in a negative or sarcastic manner. بيقولها in a negative or sarcastic manner. The author implies that the idea of glory is not a valid reason for going to war. يخشوا حرب is not a reason. You don't use glory, or you don't use glory as a reason to go to war. And that the defeated nations will not have any glory to compensate for their losses and suffering. Right? Well, هتقولوا لي Mr. Sema بيتكلم عن war فين؟ هل بيتكلم هنا عن war? Is he discussing war in this paragraph? That's my question. هتقول لي well مش مكتوب هنا war. ممكن حد يقول لي هل هنا بيكلمني عن war وبيكلم عن war فين؟ بيتكلم عن war in the topic sentence. صح؟ لازم تبطلوا حركة هقرا هنا بس. احنا قلنا مرة و52 الإجابة مرتبطة بالمين ايديا. المين ايديا هنا بيتكلم عن the consequences of war. والconsequences of war كذا كذا كذا. And so the author is telling us that this discontent or this happiness جاية بسبب الدول دولت اللي خسروا الوار عايزين glory. وبيقول عليها glory. He's being sarcastic. عشان هم خسرانين. هم خسرانين deaths, الاقتصاد, ضرايب, أكل, شرب. So there is no glory. And so he's using it as a way to express irony. إجابة C, the quoted word refers to the premise of the passage. يعني إيه premise؟ عشان طلبة قالوا لي C. يعني إيه premise؟ Main idea. We're not, glory is not related to the main idea of the passage, right? It's just a detail. So خدوا بالكم بالpoint that. When you're working through the answers, make sure you understand why. عامة, quotation marks do indicate irony. خصوصا in non-fiction. يا إما حد بيكلم يا إما إحنا بنستخدم كلمة in an unusual manner يا إما sarcasm. Question number 3. According to the passage, possible success of the revolutionary movement is contingent on. يعني contingent on. What is the meaning of contingent on? عشان لازم تعرفوا يعني ايه contingent عشان تعرفوا تجاوبوا السؤال, right? Contingent on معناها بيعتمد على حاجة. It relies on something. So the success of the revolutionary movement relies on what? Focus on the independent ideas الأول عشان في clauses or phrases كتير قوي في النص هيلخبطكم. So focus on the independent ideas. Okay, where's that answer, Yusuf? I mean, you're just choosing answers supported by. Where is it in the text? يعني ايه last part؟ أنا ما أعرفش يعني ايه last part. أنا يعني كلمة peace يعني ولا إيه؟ أنا مش فاهم. Be specific, be direct. Well, okay, I don't know. أنت شايف بقى copy paste words or phrases. أنا مش عارف إزاي ده how does that show you contingency? What does that mean? I don't even know. Well, if you're telling me an answer, then you need to know. And if you're telling me you don't even know, then probably your answer is incorrect. Good job, Abdurrahman. If you focus on the independent ideas, then me too, Yusuf. If you focus on, that's why I'm on the stock market. If you focus on independent ideas, هتعطل إجابة. بسملة أمينة الدنيا. So these revolutionary movements these movements شايفين ال demonstrative adjective كل شوية أكلمكم عليها right مرتبطة بالفكرة اللي قبليها. These movements will succeed depends on the relative strength of opposing tendencies which cannot be measured. So the success of the revolutionary movements يعتمد على إيه right يعتمد على international devices. Well no right we're not talking about أي حاجة international. The phenomenon of safeguarding peace, but again بيقوليش كده أو بيقولي these movements will succeed depends on إيه the strength of the opposing movements right. So answer B لا. أنا مش عايزاكم تشوفوا copy paste وتقولوا ده الإجابة. Copy paste is wrong. Copy paste is wrong right. أنا مش هلاقي phrase موجودة في التكست ولا إيه في الإجابات. ما بيحصلش. So answer B is incorrect as well. The act of demilitarization برضو no right. It's B. C. The presence of immeasurable resistance right. بيكلمني عن the opposing tendencies, the resistance that cannot be measured, that is immeasurable, not an excuse. Mr. Yusuf. All right, beautiful people. أول حاجة أنت تخلصوا passage 4 دلوقتي بعد الحصة. Make sure you read the explanations, homework, common lit, vocabulary, reading, writing. التشكيلة ديت هينزل بكرة مع البلان بتاعتها. يا ريت نمشي على البلان ما مشيش بمزاجي. أنا بديكوا تشكيلة عشان تتعودوا على different types of solving throughout the day. Do you guys have any questions before we go? All right, coolio folio. You can learn anything. Sim out. Bye.